Hey guys, Mr. Happy here, and today we are going to discuss the new 4-man dungeon, Pharos Sirius. In this guide, we shall go through all the dungeons and boss mechanics so that you can have as smooth a time as possible with this new dungeon, which is actually proving to be quite difficult. This dungeon requires an average item level of 48 to enter, and to gain access you must complete the quest Serious Business from Diamanda in Alport. You'll start in the sewers of Pharos Sirius, where you'll face off against a number of enemies. AoEs can be a little bit hard to see in the water sometimes, so keep an eye out. These enemies include some serious leeches, which will do a few basic attacks and a small AoE called Acid Mist, as well as a serious pugil which has an instant screwdriver type attack. Before pulling these, you may want to consider waiting for a patrolling mob, the Serious Elpst, to get close enough to pull. This mob hits fairly hard on top of a large conal breath attack. Move forward and there will be more leeches and a serious Uragnite, which will occasionally do an extra attack that will poison his target. Moving forward, there will be another Elpst. Be sure not to move forward too far though, as the next set of mobs that spawn might catch you a little bit off guard. Immediately after the Elpst, you'll see several seemingly dead bodies on the ground with crystals growing out of them. Approaching these enemies will spawn several zombie sailors. They don't do anything really that special, but they can catch your healers who like to explore ahead off guard, as you may have noticed in this video. Tank and kill them as normal. Right next to the first pack is a treasure coffer before moving up to the second floor of the dungeon. Upon reaching the second floor, you'll come to another pack of zombie sailors on the ground, so approach them with caution again. New to the party is the zombie barber, who has less health and should be focused first. If not killed, he will begin placing a strong poison on the party, which you just don't want to deal with. Kill this pack and you'll already be at the first boss. The first boss of Pharos Sirius is Simon the Unsinkable. This fight starts off Pharos Sirius with a bang, as he is a right good challenge for players new to the dungeon. Upon pulling, a lot of things will start happening very quickly. After you deal a certain amount of damage to him, Simon will summon 2 zombie warhounds that will attack the party. They are very weak, but if not killed fast enough, they will begin to use Corrupted Spit. If this attack hits somebody, they will gain a stack of Corrupted Crystal that lasts for 20 seconds. If someone gets 3 stacks of Corrupted Crystal, they will explode, dealing about 1500 to 2000 damage to whoever exploded and giving them a stack of vulnerability up, increasing the damage that they take. At the same time, he will begin shooting a line AoE that will deal extremely high damage if it hits anyone. To top it all off, he will shoot crystals off of the roof, which will drop onto the arena and create 2 corrupted puddles. These puddles will grow in size twice until there are just 2 small areas on opposite sides of the arena to stand on. If you stand in these puddles, you will take some damage, but more importantly, you will also quickly generate stacks of corrupted crystal, which will cause some faster explosions and more overall damage. Basically, don't stand in the corrupted crystal. So kill the dogs, which by my count spawn about 6 times during my encounter with Simon. I've been told this is based around his HP, with less HP causing him to spawn them faster and faster. Avoid the corrupted puddles and the lasers. After he loses enough HP, Simon will also do a giant AoE knockback called Giga Slash, which will cover about 2/3 of the room, as well as hit for about 1400 damage. The damage it deals can be healed through, however, your range should attempt to be far away in the safe spot of the room to avoid this, away from the tank. Melee won't be able to do this, so melee should reposition themselves to avoid being knocked back into the corrupted puddles. With all this out of the way, finish the boss and move on to the next part of the dungeon. The next room of the dungeon will have a few enemies inside. The first one is a boot, a ghost type mob that will cast Paralyze 3, which will paralyze its main target plus anyone nearby. Silence it or just don't stand near each other and take care of the paralyze on whoever gets it. Also, when you step in this room, several zombie sailors will pop up, as well as large chunks of crystal falling from the ceiling. Once this happens, occasionally a chunk of crystal will fall into the center of the room, doing high damage to anyone caught in its path. Just kill the mobs before going around the outside of the room to avoid the explosions. On the way to the next room, you will begin running into corrupted sprites. These will spam cast Banish on their main target, and occasionally cast Banish 3 for much higher damage. This hurts a lot, so try to silence or stun them when they are casting it and kill them as quickly as possible. Straight ahead is a room with another corrupted sprite, several ghosts, and a boot. Stepping into the room will cause a large chunk of crystal to fall from the ceiling again, similar to the previous room. Kill the mobs, wrap around to grab the coffer, and then go back into the hallway. You can now go up the nearby stairwell, though there are more zombie sailors and a barber at the base of the stairs. Approaching the stairs will cause more crystals to fall as they have been in the prior 2 rooms. The entire base of the stairs will also begin to suffer from falling chunks, so you have to go up the stairs quickly after spawning them. But be sure to grab this coffer over here first. Just saying. After you clear the first set of stairs, there's no more rush. Only the bottom of the stairs and the first bit of stairs will actually begin exploding. The second set of stairs will drop its crystals as well as spawn 3 corrupted slimes. These guys hit the tank pretty hard and will occasionally steal some health from the tank. They don't heal for much, but every little bit counts. Kill them before progressing up to the next path, carefully timed with the crystals falling. Now instead of triggering the third stairwell's crystals and corrupted slimes, which will drop with them, wait for the patrolling corrupted sprite to get in range. Pull it back and kill it before spawning the new slimes. Dispose of all of these enemies and make your way up to the top of the stairs. If you go left when you go up the stairs, there will be more corrupted sprites, a boot, and 2 ghost mobs. Kill them as you would normally and you'll find a treasure coffer at the end of the hallway. Go back the other way and kill another set of sailors and a barber before progressing up to the next floor. Once on the next floor, don't move up the stairs yet. Pull the 2 screamers back to the entrance and kill them before letting the tank take a step forward. A wild zoo will appear, do a stomp attack, and fly up to the next boss room. And yes, he will be the next boss of the dungeon. This can easily be the most difficult encounter in the dungeon if you aren't sure what you are doing. The zoo has a ton of moves, some of which are devastating, while others are simply annoying. Upon engaging the zoo, the room will be surrounded by zoo eggs, which will play a pivotal role in the fight. Upon pulling the zoo, he will begin using a wind breath attack, which is his basic attack. Occasionally he will use a move called Sonic Boom, which will deal high damage to the tank as well as place wind burn on them, dealing wind damage over time. You should try to Asuna or leech this as quick as possible. This alone can add up to a lot of damage, not to mention the rest of the mechanics that are coming. On top of that, the zoo will occasionally cast Breathwing, a room-wide AoE wind damage attack. Around this time, he will likely begin to hatch several eggs around the outside of the room. While your instincts may direct you to kill the eggs, doing this greatly enrages the zoo, giving him stacks of the buff Inner Rage. Every egg destroyed will give him 8 stacks, and every stack will increase the damage he deals. If you break 2 or more eggs, giving him 16 stacks, you will get the message, the zoo has murder in its eyes, and he will begin using an extremely powerful stomp attack, which will deal 3,000 or more damage to any select party members and anyone near them, as well as stunning them. For this reason, whenever he tries to hatch eggs, avoid killing more than 1 egg. Have 1 person designated to kill a single egg for the encounter for each time he tries to hatch. The remaining eggs will hatch and spawn one of 2 types of adds. The first one is the Zoo Pullet, which will mimic the Zoo's basic attack as well as occasionally cast a weaker form of Breathwing. The other is the Zoo Cockerel, which will create a tether between themselves and a party member and cast Caustic Vomit, which will pulse for a few hundred damage every second. Kill these adds when they spawn. For the most part, they are just annoying, so kill them in whichever order is most convenient for your group. The Cockerels will usually tether to a random people, while the Pullets usually gun straight for the healers, so I recommend killing the Pullets first. The Zoo will spawn several eggs at a time, but keep in mind never to break more than 1. He won't break all the eggs at once, but as the fight goes on, he will continue to break more and more eggs. By the end of the fight, you can expect almost the entire room to have no eggs in it. The Zoo has one final attack, Sonic Storm. He will designate using this when he flies up and becomes untargetable. At this point, he will target the main tank with the attack 3 times and do 3 very quick AoEs for just over 1,000 damage each before returning to the ground and continuing to fight. This will only go for his highest threat target, so by not standing near the main tank, you can avoid anybody else in your party being hit by this. If the tank is not already moving when the spell starts casting, odds are he will get hit by it. And even if he is moving, there may be times where he has to do a specific motion that may prevent him from moving out of it. So just be prepared to do some extra healing during this phase. So avoid letting him get to 16 stacks, kill the adds from the hatched eggs, heal through the constant damage coming out, and you should be alright. Once you are past this, the worst should be behind you, at least until the last boss. Grab your loot and head up to the next floor. You'll come to another stairwell, which welcomes you with an Aether Valve. This valve will constantly summon a cloud of Aether until it is shut off, and this cloud will travel up the stairs slowly. If you touch it or are next to it when it expires, it will explode and deal about 1,500 to 2,000 damage and knock back everyone it hits. Look for a chance to turn it off before moving up. Grab the corrupted sprite and kill it before pulling the corrupted pudding. The pudding will begin casting Divide after a few seconds, which will spawn a few small slime ads. These little guys add up quick, so kill the big slime and the little ones as quickly as possible. Pull the next corrupted sprite back from what appears to be more aether clouds floating down from the top of the stairwell. Kill it before heading up. There's another valve at the top of the stairwell, so once a fresh batch of clouds is spawned, run along the side of the stairwell to avoid touching them. You will then have to deal with 2 corrupted puddings at the top of the stairwell, but don't forget to shut off the valve immediately. Kill them and any slimes they divide into, and you will have reached the 3rd boss, Tyrunt. Tyrunt has very little HP and is considerably easier than the previous 2 bosses. He has access to both Abomination and AoE damage plus slow native to the type of dragon that he is, as well as an instantly cast Whip Crack, a target attack that deals additional damage. He also has an attack called Arrow Blast, which will do about 1k to the entire party in an AoE. Other than that, he will just summon a few zombie sailors that have very low HP. Kill them, kill him, get loot, and progress to the final floor and the final boss of Pharos Sirius. The final boss is none other than Siren, a boss you encounter during the main story in patch 2.0. She has quite a few mechanics, some of which can easily wipe new groups. Let's go over them one by one. The first mechanic you'll likely encounter is Deathly Verse, which Siren will use on a random target every so often. When she inflicts that target with the debuff, named Siren Song, she will do some initial damage to them and place the debuff on them. If the target is not healed up to full HP before the debuff expires, which takes roughly 12 seconds, that target will become charmed for 12 seconds, causing them to attack nearby allies. Quickly heal these targets up to prevent things from going wrong very quickly. Using Stone Skin and Eloquium at the beginning of the fight and intermittently during the fight can immensely help with this, as if you never drop below full HP, you'll never have to worry about actually healing somebody through this. Shortly into the fight, she will also summon several ads on the east side of the room. 2 of these ads will be Zombie Storm Sergeants, which will track a target and begin moving in their direction. If they reach their target, they will stun them until they are killed. These guys can be extremely tricky to deal with if you have a melee heavy group, since melees will likely be running to their own stun at times. Try to communicate which ones are going for which person and avoid running into the one that might be tracking you. She will also do Zombie Storm Privates, which will run around hitting people unless they are tanked. They have low HP, so kill them quickly. It's most problematic if they are attacking a healer or another squishy target when Deathly Verse gets used on them, since it will make healing them up quite difficult. She will also occasionally cast Song of Torment on the tank, which will place a strong damage over time effect on them. Asuna or leech this off as soon as possible. After a short time, she will jump into the air and summon a few Zombie Storm Sergeants. While you are dealing with these, Siren will do an attack where she places herself at one end of the arena and dashes through the middle to the other side, heavily damaging anyone in her path. Try not to stand in the center when she jumps and carefully watch the sides to see where she is spawning to avoid getting hit by this. Kill the sergeants and prepare for her to return to the battlefield. When she returns, she will begin using a new attack, Lunatic Voice. This attack will place a 30-second debuff on the party that will reduce their healing substantially. It can be Asuna'd or leeched, so remove it from everyone as quickly as possible, since it will make healing up for Deathly Verse impossible. After another set of zombies and a short time, Siren will fly up again, before reappearing in the center of the arena. When she appears this time, she will do an AoE version of Deathly Verse, giving Siren Song to everyone in the group. When she does this, everyone should do their best to group up in the center for AoE heals, and use abilities such as Second Wind or Physic themselves in the case of Summoner or Black Mage. It's really important to have the reduced healing debuff off before she does this, since it will make this impossible to deal with otherwise. After that, she will continue to repeat all of these attacks until defeated. This fight is toughest on the healers, since they need to remove Song of Torment, Lunatic Voice, and Deathly Verse, as well as being mobbed by Storm Privates or being locked down by Storm Sergeants. Healers, definitely get some practice in on this, because if you can do this, you're definitely going to be good for a lot of the other content that's both movement heavy and, well, reliant on healers being able to perform. Definitely a great practice fight for healers, and especially for healers that may not be used to using Asuna and Leech a lot. So, in the end, good dungeon, good luck, hopefully you're able to clear this without too much of a problem. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, favorite, subscribe, and share for more Final Fantasy XIV information and guides, as well as some other videos on my channel. Also, feel free to follow me on Facebook and Twitter, where you can get regular updates about the videos that I'm doing, as well as ask me questions. Also, feel free to follow me on Twitch, where I will be streaming Final Fantasy XIV, as well as some other classic Final Fantasy titles and some other games for the year of 2014. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and until next time, take care.